Chapter 11, Assessing Children's Learning and Development. In this chapter, we will discuss assessment and its effects on children. Teachers must have a basic understanding of assessment vocabulary in order to implement assessment effectively in a classroom setting. There are two main types of assessment: formative and summative assessments. Formative assessments occur throughout the year and generally fall into two main categories: curriculum-embedded assessments and play-based assessments. Think of one example of each type of formative assessment. Summative assessments occur at the end of the year or a unit and generally assess whether or not the instruction was effective. Other types of assessments include informal, formative, performance, or authentic, and dynamic assessment. The main difference between informal and formal is that formal uses a specific tool or design instrument, such as a checklist to assess learning. In addition, informal tends to be qualitative in nature, and formal tends to be quantitative in nature. Using the definitions in the book and what was read, describe one performance or authentic or one dynamic assessment. When a teacher understands standardized testing, they are able to understand what a standardized assessment is and describe what testing involves. In addition, teachers understand the importance of reliability and validity in testing as well. Scoring standardized tests are done in two ways: criterion referenced or norm referenced. Norm referenced testing is done on a normal curve and with a norming group. The purpose of an assessment is to inform teaching and promote learning. In addition, assessment provides teachers an opportunity to identify children with special needs or developmental needs. Special or developmental needs are determined using a screening and diagnostic testing. Assessments can also show a teacher trends in program quality as well as make the program accountable for learning. When assessing program quality, it's important to connect the purpose of the assessment to the types of assessments being used. Indicators of effective assessment include the following: ethical principles as guides, assessment instruments used for intended purposes, assessment instruments developmentally appropriate for children, assessment instruments meet validity and reliability criteria. When planning for a developmentally appropriate assessment, a teacher should consider the following factors: characteristics of development, context of assessment, and motivation. When observing and gathering evidence, a teacher should observe children's behavior frequently. They need to collect work products that are collected over time and demonstrate the learning process. Lastly, a teacher should gather information from family members as well. When recording what a child knows and can do, a teacher can use descriptive records such as running records, anecdotal records, videotapes, audio tapes, and digital photography. In addition, they can use frequency counts, checklists, rating scales, and rubrics, as well as portfolios. Teachers should utilize developmental continuums and learning standards when interpreting and using evidence collected to improve teaching and learning. There are several types of standardized tests, including achievement tests, aptitude or ability tests, readiness tests, and screening diagnostic tests. Teachers need to be aware of high stakes testing and their impact on the educational system. Some things that teachers should be aware of include using standardized test scores to make decisions that have long-term consequences, the school accountability movement, appropriate use of standardized testing, the issues around standardized tests, which include misidentification, inappropriate test administration, biases in standard testing, and negative effects on curriculum and teaching. Concerns about high-stake testing include misidentification, inappropriate test administration, biases in standard and testing, negative effects on curriculum and teaching. The kindergarten entry assessments are now being administered and done for the following reasons: to assess readiness for school, to identify if a child needs extra support, to guide teachers, to inform parents, and to inform professional development for teachers.